So welcome to week 15 of my sports betting case study where I'm looking at using progressive staking on a negative expectation where I'm just taking random bets just to see if the progressive staking will actually make a profit or lose. Now my hypothesis is it will lose. Let's just jump in and quickly review the rules. So the rules are the selections must have a negative expectation, so I'm just taking the odds that are available. I'm not looking for the best odds or anything like that. This is just the odds that would, if you had bet level stakes, would actually lose. Number two, there needs to be a high number of bets, so I am doing between 5,000 and 8,000 bets pretty much every week, which is a lot of bets to get through, and that is why this is automated, and you could not do this manually. And number three, there needs to be we need to stop when we've either lost $1,000 for a test or we've made $1,000. So it's pretty much a 50-50 case. And hopefully we get to that $1,000 each time, which is what's been happening. But let's see how the tests have gone this week. So this week's tests were pretty much test 9 and test 10. So test 9 completed, it was in progress last week and it came in with a profit of almost $2,000, which I'll get into when I show you the graph. You'll see why it had such a high profit when we stop at $1,000 profit. Test 10 has started off with a profit, which is a little bit unusual. We normally see the new tests that we start in negative territory for quite a few days when I pass it in for the first time, and they're in progress, but this one's already done a little bit of recovery, so we're up to $187 in profit. Now the running total right now, including test 10 results there that are in progress, is a $5,759 profit, which is far exceeding anything that I expected. I expected to be losing money on this and that I would be able to stop this after a few tests. It hasn't worked out that way. It's showing a profit, which is good, definitely not what I'm expecting, and now I'm going to have to decide what I keep doing after the 10th test, just to see, should I continue this to prove that eventually it does turn around and go negative, or continue to prove that it works. So we'll see where we get to, but let's finish test 10 first. Test 9, just going through the metrics around test 9, there were 5,716 bets, and I do say at the bottom there's not many bets, so the World Cup is on this week again, so there's a lot of soccer games that aren't being played that would normally be played just on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. It had a profit of $1,950, which was quite good, and when I closed it off there were still sequences running which needed to recover $165, but I just essentially don't recover those since we've got over that $1,000 profit. Now the reason that we hit that almost $2,000 profit for the week was we got to very scary bet sizes this week, and we needed to wait for the right games for these bets to be placed. It essentially was a maximum bet size of almost $2,800, which is huge. And obviously if that had lost, we would have been showing a large loss way beyond the $1,000 loss limit, which is expected, and we could have lost somewhere up to about negative 3,000. So let's jump to the chart and have a look at it so we can see where it actually was moving around. So here's the chart of test 9, and you'll see it went nowhere at the beginning, had a few losses, recovers up to about $500, it's then recovered most of those losses, so it just goes nowhere again, and then it hits its losing run around 4,476 bet sequence there. Now it dropped big at that point, and obviously it started to recover. Now that's where it started to have the big bets. You can see that that loss there would have been the loss just before it went into the $2,800 bet size, and then that sequence got bet on at around bet 5,000 and it won, so it jumped back up to about the 500, and again it would have been bet on at around 5,400, and obviously there was a few things here that were in a losing sequence and we're recovering, but it would have had a really good win there, and it's jumped up significantly, almost up to $2,000. So there's been a few bets there that have won in that recovery, and then there's a few bets that have closed it out, which got us close to $2,000 at that time. But it was just some very scary sized bets that were getting on with the progressive staking. Had it lost again at that bet around 5,000, that would have been a negative 2,800 taken at that point in time, which would have put us down by about just over $3,000. Now that's okay, that's kind of what I would expect, and that would have wiped out the profit we'd made, but in this case it ended up winning, and I guess that happens a certain amount of times. We'll lose occasionally and wipe out some profit, but I'm surprised at how lucky we've been through these tests. These tests, that we've had 10 tests. So we'll see how we keep going. I'll finish off test 10 and see how that goes. But let's just have a quick look at test 10 before we finish up. So test 10, we've already had 2,600 bets. It's up to $187 profit, I said, and it's got sequences that are trying to recover the $133 that are outstanding. That will mean that we're already having some sizable bets. As you can see there, the max bet size is $173. Now, providing that wins and stays under the 500 kind of dollar mark, it's nice and it just progresses nice and slowly, but the big movements are always when it's progressed up to those bigger bet sizes, and fortunately for myself, it has been winning lately, but it's not proving what I expected to prove, so we'll see where it ends up. Okay, I'll leave it there. If you have any questions, feel free to post in the comments and I'll try to answer them. I will run through test 10 and then see what we're going to go from there and do. But I'll likely just continue to run some tests and keep putting out these videos to see whether it keeps making a profit or we end up losing. So if you're having a bet this week, good luck, and thanks for watching the video.